hi, I
Oh,
don't
true.
really know if I might be kidnapped tonight.
Drop your address.
I know, right? Be like, yeah, no.
Nate, drop your address in the
Well,
description, and then we'll see if you get
drop your
kidnapped.
address in the description below, and you like find the secret link.
At some point.
You don't want to go to my house. I feel like the minute you go through, you also want to sleep on the bed. So you'll end up becoming my company. That's kind of how it is. They're like, are you lonely? Not really. I just figured it might be fun.
So let's talk about what we would be like if we were like the opposite gender.
Ooh.
We have that in there. It's called our gender bend episode.
Okay. Oh, I wasn't even dressed up in drag for a gender bend
Yeah,
episode.
I didn't think about it till just now either. I also have
So
pink
Athena
headphones.
versus Dionysian Man. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Let's do it.
Yo.
Rush of ideas and just imagination and chaos. You know, you make things, you break things in the span of seconds just with your thoughts.
Kinesthetic style, but only within the mind.
Take a whole idea and like deconstruct it and then rebuild it in like a completely different way.
Swimming in chaos.
Welcome to
I
Just
can't
even
with
myself
right
now. Let's go.
So honestly, a lot of people have told me, like my girlfriends, like they've girl space friends, they have told me that like I would be their ideal type if I were a guy, because they like go through their list of things and then they're like, it sounds like I'm describing you. And I'm like, hey baby, like, because listen, like they say like, you know, they want them to be taller than them, and I'm 5'9". I'm pretty tall. I'm not very tall, but I'm pretty tall. So I'm 5'9", and then they're like, oh, we want them to be smart and like self-proclaimed. I'm pretty smart.
And self-proclaimed.
Self-proclaimed. Yeah, again, like I don't have any sources. No one can back me up on that, but I think I'm smart. And then they're like, you know, you want someone musical, you want someone athletic. Like I play piano, I play cello, tiny bit of guitar. I played volleyball, I run. Like,
do you think your chances would have been more interesting if you were a guy?
Yeah, I do. I honestly think that I would be like your typical, well, I mean, listen, I go by J. I would be a typical J.
You'd be a J.
I'd be a J, like, you know, like.
It's funny because I feel the exact opposite. I feel like a lot of my life would have been a little bit more interesting if I were a girl. Like if that was really my background, because I mean, I'm a feeler guy, right? When it comes to descriptions of
Tell me
the
about
men
your feelings, girl.
and I'm like, and I'm the girl. Well, I'm the girl. See, there we go. And I'm the girl the type of girl that would be. I would have girlfriends who we would all like. I love the whole idea, the concept of a slumber party. Like I actually am into that. I like the idea of people being together and strengthening each other up.
Right.
Which is like
okay, so like I think that honestly I might have actually done better in the, okay, so we're not going to dive, for just a disclaimer for people watching, we're not going to dive into like sexism and feminism, because that's a really deep deep topic, and we won't be able to cover all the stuff we want to
about what it would be like to be opposite.
But yeah, but like as far as like the way our society goes, like I think honestly I could do fine in the more toxic masculine like society that there is, and that like, you know, like I don't really care if when I share my feelings people are like, haha, like what a loser. Like I'm like, you know, like,
yeah,
whatever.
And you don't usually do that. And for me, I wouldn't have to deal with the shame of be having feelings.
Yeah. Well, I think this comes down to like the thinker woman and feeler men, right?
Yeah. I mean, okay, we also had a little side note of Athena versus Dionysus. Right. So we both have those energies. You have Athena, I have Dionysus. So for those who aren't familiar with this, it's a system that you and I actually have been in talks about, that's based off of Jean Shinoda Bolen's 2 books called Gods in Every Man and Gods in Every Woman. I personally figured that we should just call it the Pantheon Archetypes. Yeah. Basically, she took it from Jung and created an archetypal thing based on the Greek gods.
It's really interesting. We'll put the titles in the description, so
sure Athena's in this case they're known to be, well, people might understand them as a masculine version of a woman, but that's not the case. There are just a woman who's, I think, like a woman who prides herself on. The thing that's interesting about it
is that, like, yeah, because we talk about this in one of Nate's videos. If you subscribe to his Patreon, then you can get access to these videos on the pantheonic archetypes. But we talked about it in his episode about Athena, how like essentially there's the aspect of things that are feminine energies and things that are masculine energies. And if I'm tapping into masculine energies, then it's known as my animus. And when guys are tapping into their feminine energy, it's called their anima. But the interesting thing about Athena is that it is a feminine energy that is traditionally seen as more male, or masculine, but it's actually a feminine energy. And that, I think, is empowering for other thinker women, or just women who are not as, I guess, stereotypically feminine, because the thing is that just because I am strong and I like to think for myself, it doesn't mean that I am masculine. It means that that's just a part of my feminine nature, which I think is really cool. Yeah.
I mean, and I flip it over to Dionysus.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
For how it is and how it was described, a Dionysius man typically tends to have to deal with other men finding me really uncomfortable to be around because I'm in tune with my feelings. I don't really care about
it makes
expression.
People uncomfortable.
Just saying that I thrive in chaos. I thrive in situations where emotions are not repressed, and partying, like just being an overall like fun persona that's typically kind of like being engaged with your emotions. People might find that kind of awkward, especially for the most of the other male archetypes who kind of pride themselves on putting themselves above.
Something that's interesting about this is you as a man, when you're around other men, the fact that you have Dionysus energy, it makes them uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And me as a woman who is an Athena, I also make men uncomfortable because we are both challenging what it means to be traditionally masculine.
Oh yeah.
Like we really are. And like, at least for me, definitely, I know a lot of guys get really like, they get insecure around me because like,
well, and what's even more funnier, a lot of guys get insecure around me because I am not insecure around women.
Yes.
So, and women are not insecure around me. So it becomes this huge dynamic hilarity observation because men will be like, oh, do you like this girl? And the answer is no, I don't. Right. I'm just really comfortable.
But they still feel threatened by you, right?
Well, girls no, but men.
No, the guys,
the
that's
guys.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
You saw the time that one story, that guy who's like, just because I was really good friends with this girl.
Yeah, you told me about that.
He started trying to teach me how to lift boxes.
That's so strange. Like, I think the moment you challenge them, they try to dive deeper into like toxic masculinity culture. They're like,
trying to teach
look at my abs, like I'm gonna deadlift this thing. I'm like, dude, like.
You know what's funny is that maybe because that is the only thing that can actually beat me to it. Because no, I don't have a pair or good pack of abs, and no, I can't really do a really proper deadlift. Mm-hmm. So,
but why does like I don't understand why? Like, yeah, it's like why are those the measures of? I mean, honestly, yeah. So it comes down to like societal standards, which is interesting. But yeah, the thing I find interesting about the pantheonic archetypes also is just the fact that these archetypes have been around for a long time and they challenge the traditional roles, gender roles. So I appreciate that because it's interesting to know that like.
And accepting.
Yeah.
They're accepting that everyone is different and then they're viable contenders to individuals.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, and yeah, again, I've been saying like Athenas are more traditionally masculine, but it needs to be more commonly accepted that no, it's still feminine. And like with you as well, with your Dionysus, it seems as more like traditionally feminine, but it's still a masculine energy, and it doesn't make like, I feel like people would be quick to try to label you and say like you're gay or something, but like that has nothing to do with it. It's not connected, it's not the same thing.
Yeah,
and like same with me too.
I personally haven't really met much, but having had the introduction to other Dionysian men was actually really cool, at least because at least I got to see so that I wasn't alone in the struggle.
It's like representation, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, in a way.
That's why it's cool when like to read about it. Like once you read and realize that there are other ones, and then
these guys exist. It's like yes.
Like
I watched a YouTube video. This guy complaining about being a feeler man and saying how it sucks to be labeled the way he is, and he feels so alone and blah blah blah. And for me, it felt kind of awkward to watch it because I would say that there was a time where I did feel that way, but that's where you have to find your people becomes really handy. Because yes, while I didn't meet people who were like me, I got to meet people who at least accepted me for me.
Like the thing is that those people who can accept you exist. And if all the people around you don't accept you, you need to find new people.
You need to find new people.
Like you really do. And honestly, the world is at our fingertips. We have the internet, like
way too many people on the planet. So you might as well find one. Like
yeah, yes.
They're like, oh, there's nobody for me. Were you even looking? There's everyone for you, and you don't even want. I don't even want any. Like at this point, we're like,
Yeah, I mean, I think most of our text conversations consist of, I hate everyone, I hate people suck, I don't want to talk to anyone.
because people turn into disappointments.
Yeah, well, that's why, okay, I think I might have mentioned this in a previous episode also, but like whenever someone does something and like lets me down, I realize that I'm always disappointed in myself. I'm not disappointed in them, because I'm disappointed in myself for ever expecting that they would be better than that. Like, I'm not mad that they didn't reach my expectation. Like, I'm not mad at them. I'm like, why did I even expect that much? You know, which kind of sucks, which is why like I stick with friends now who, and like I don't want to pressure them, but like, you know, like I know they're the type of people to meet those expectations that I have, you know, like my standards are higher, and if they don't always meet them, that's fine. Like, you know, they're my friends.
And I told you this. So my mom taught me to seek out intelligent people and to surround yourself with smarter people, not because they're any better, but in a way their behavior, their skill sets, that would at least rub off on you.
Right. That's what, like, because, you know, you read that thing also like online where it says like your GPA is the average of all your friends' GPAs, and I'm just like, honestly, I wonder how far down I pull my friends' GPAs, because they're like geniuses. But I love that, you know, like I would never want to be the smartest person in a room, and like I know that's a big fault that a lot of ENTPs specifically have, is that they are really arrogant, and I'm gonna group myself in with it. We think we're the smartest person in the room, and that's why we're the most annoying kid in the room, and why we don't have any friends. Haha, you are not the smartest person in the room. And even if you're the smartest in one aspect, someone is better than you at something, and that should humble you.
Exactly.
And
there's always going to be someone better than you. There's always going to be somebody who started out college at 10 years old because he's just a genius.
Right.
Like, what are you going to do, hate on that guy?
My professor was saying, like, once I'm in grad school, like, do not join a lab where people look at me with hard eyes. He's like, join a lab where, you know, you are not the stupidest person there, but make sure you're not near the smartest one, because you're not going to learn anything. And I was like, yeah, that's so true. I would never
give yourself the space to be, like, the growth aspect, right?
Yeah, why would you want to be the smartest person in the room? You don't learn anything. Well, I mean, you can learn stuff, but like, okay, I want to rephrase my statement. It's not that like you can't learn anything from people who aren't smarter than you, but like, why would you want to be in a room where you think you're the smartest in the room?
There we go. Yeah, because it's not about them. It's about your own perception.
Yeah, and also, again, everyone has their own strengths. So, like, you can't judge everyone based on not matching your strengths. Of course, they're not better than you at what you're best at.
I love how we went from a gender bending episode to
that's what this episode is about.
Like, we were supposed to go into drag somehow and like turn into our. Anyway,
well, yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. Sound off in the comments below. What would you think your life would be different?
I'm sorry. Oh, this isn't the same episode.
Also, like and subscribe. You can check out the Athena episode I did with JC over on the Patreon. $2 and you can get in. Yeah, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you guys take your vitamins. And just we're not in sync. Take your.
I said stay cool.
What if you're not
take your
cool?
Vitamins. Stay
Here's
cool.
Though, if you're not cool, that's okay. Just accept that you're not cool. No, they need to accept your lane. Okay. You're not cool, and that's fine.
It's not okay.
You don't have to be cool.
Maybe we don't get along as well as I thought. This isn't the same episode as that either. Oh no. Well, watch the episode before this and then come back and then...
Yeah, you're not cool because you're just
it's trash. 2 episodes before. Sorry, go back a week. All right, anyway, bye.